Framber Valdez. When I say his name, I'm sure the first thing that comes to mind for most of you is that vivid image of him intentionally crossing up his own catcher and drilling him in the chest. If you're unfamiliar with that incident, I suggest you look it up. I bring this point up because today validated what many fans and front offices had concerns about this offseason during free agency. I kid you not, during the offseason when he was pitching to different clubs, Framber and his agent curated a 20-minute video or some sort of PowerPoint presentation about how he's a nice guy, a man with good character, and overall that he's a good teammate. Again, this is not conjecture or some bullshit narrative. ESPN's very own Jorge Castillo reported on this with Dallas Braden on the Baseball is Dead podcast.
I'm not sure if you guys know about the video thing that he's the 20-minute video.
Yes, that he's circulating and showing teams his character. I'm a good guy. I promise you.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah.
He has an I'm a nice guy PowerPoint presentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
it's basically just like it's a character, like just to tell teams, hey, this guy's good character, etc.
At the end of free agency, I assume the Tigers must be fans of creative media or the Microsoft Office suite because they signed him during his age 32 season for $115 million over 3 years when they were penny pinching Terry Skubal in arbitration after back-to-back Cy Youngs. But that's neither here nor there. Speaking of the Tigers ace, Skubal recently went on the injury list to get surgery due to some loose bodies found in his throwing arm. In a best-case scenario, he's likely not back until July or August. With the ace down and a depleted bullpen, this was the perfect time for Framber Valdez to show that the signing was worth it, that last year's situation was an isolated event, and that he can lead this Tigers team in what will likely be a very tight race in the AL Central. The Red Sox clearly have all the talent in the world, but this is a team that is still struggling to generate offense to start the season. However, the Red Sox offense exploded for 10 runs in the first 4 innings of the game. Things really went sideways for Framber in the top of the 4th inning when Wilson Contreras ambushed the first pitch of the inning, launching it 450 feet and admiring his work with the healthy bat flip. I think some of you may find bat flipping distasteful when you're up 9 runs and at the moment your team is 7 games under 500. However, most modern viewers have adapted to the mentality that if you don't like it, don't give up home runs. On the 3rd pitch of the inning, Wilyer Abreu, or as the post-game team for the Tigers called him, Weiler Abreu.
By a pretty good hitter, Weiler Abreu hits another home run.
To be honest, I thought it would be Abreu who would wear the perceived slight, but interestingly enough, it's the next batter, Trevor Story, who gets hit right between the numbers at 94 miles per hour. Keep in mind, Valdez, who predominantly throws a sinker, this is the first 4-seam fastball he has thrown all year, and it connects with Story square in the back. Something worth noting, this exact same scenario took place on August 19th, 2023. Valdez is getting lit up by the Mariners and gives up a home run to Dylan Moore. On the very first pitch of the next at-bat, he drills Jose Caballero in the legs with a 96-mile-per-hour heater. And probably to no one's surprise, much like the Red Sox, the Mariners took exception to this and felt like it was on purpose. I don't think it can be any more clear. Valdez quit. He had no desire to compete because he was getting torched by this offense and was due to face a guy who was 4 for 10 off of him lifetime. It put his team, his manager, and his organization in a bad spot. What was even more embarrassing than the action itself was listening to the Tigers broadcast attempt to justify or downplay what had happened.
Now this is, Jason, there was no warnings issued, there was nothing going on, and just to throw a guy out for hitting one batter, they don't know if it was intentional. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, you can't know.
Nobody
knows.
knows.
And
Thankfully, AJ Hinch, despite his history with the Astros, had the integrity to come out and state that he did not align with his pitcher's actions, that he actually understood the frustration of the Red Sox and applauded both teams for their professionalism.
He got ejected because of the hit by pitch after the 2 homers. The umpires get together and deemed it worthy of ejection. I understand. I understand their frustration. I understand the optics. I understand that the whole thing. We play a really good brand of baseball here. That didn't feel like it. It's not judging intent. I have no idea. But I know when you go out on the field and you end up sort of in those confrontations, you usually feel like you're in your right because you're and it didn't feel good being out there.
I mean, it's refreshing to see a manager publicly disagree with his players' actions, especially with Valdez refusing to be accountable after the game, claiming that there was no intent behind the pitch whatsoever, going as far as to claim that it was unfair he was ejected. I mean, you guys let me know. Is there any validity to what Framber did, or is this just unfortunately another low light in his career?